tell me about the wide receiver group, because everyone's talking about the drops, whatever, and then in the preseason game they had some drops. But what's like the vibe in the wide receiver group? Like, do they hear that? I assume that they're a confident group, right?
Yeah, they are, and I think everybody understands what happened last year wasn't good enough. Jaden Reed's talked about it. That everybody, they know how good they can be, and I think they want to reach that level. 2023, they kind of got on the scene a little bit faster than everybody expected. Dontavian Wicks goes from a 5th-round pick that you're just wondering if he'll make the roster, right? When you draft somebody on day 3 that late, to a guy that ended up being one of the more explosive receivers in the NFL, and they were able to concoct a trick play with him where he's passing the football. I mean, last year was more of a grind for this team, and then obviously the unfortunate cherry on top of all that was Christian Watson getting injured at the end of the season. So this year they're back, and I'll tell you what, man, they drafted Matthew Golden. And when people ask me, what do I think of that pick? Well, I better like it because I said they should take him. It was the first time in 12 years I've gotten the Packers' first-round pick right. And you're seeing it in practice. 4.29 speed is one thing, Matt, but it's how explosive he is, and there is no wasted movement with him. The way he gets in and out of breaks, he catches everything. You need to translate it to games. But when you use a first-round pick on a skill position player like that, you also want to see him show up right away. And I feel like this training camp has been really solid for him, and he complements what they already have really well.
Yeah, and I like that he was a little fired up because someone tweeted out, you probably saw this, that he got locked up or something, and then he responded like, what are you talking about? I like that because sometimes with rookies, they're kind of like they don't want to, but he seems very confident. Yeah. And everyone talking, like not even just a talking, but just a route running and everything, how fast he gets out of his breaks, that he looks like not a rookie. So do you think he has the capability of being, not to compare him to any of the guys, but the guys who took off really fast?
Yeah.
Rookie years, because guys like Devontae took a little
Greg
bit,
Jennings.
but he balled. But there's guys who just come out rookie year and they're ready to go. Do you think he has a possibility of that happening?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of it's going to come down to opportunity because they are still deep and there's a lot of mouths to feed within this offense. But I look at that play he had against Sauce Gardner, and as we were talking with Jason Vrabel, the pass game coordinator, last week about it, he had the slant, plucked it, really nice play. He also had the DPI. Vrabel said probably wasn't the cleanest route ever, but yet that shows you what he can do when you get a step on a defensive back, and especially someone the caliber of Gardner. So, people will look at Golden. They'll be like, okay, well, he's not the biggest receiver in the world, but the analogy I've been using with him a lot is he reminds me of Aaron Jones in that he's the type of guy that's so explosive. Yeah, he may not be the biggest receiver ever. He may not be Megatron, but by the time you catch him, he's already past you.
Yeah.
And I think you saw that if you look at his tape at Texas. It was one of the big reasons I liked him. It wasn't just about the speed with him. It's about he's a well-rounded receiver that can do the whole route tree. And again, it's going to be a process. We'll see what this rookie year looks like. But if he's healthy and he's on the field and the opportunities are there and the targets are there, I think he's going to produce for this offense.
Yeah, to me, it kind of seems like whoever's hot is going to get it.
Yeah.
Like if someone pops off, they're having a good couple games, they're just going to keep giving the ball. But I want to talk about Jordan Love. Like last year, he had an injury. Everyone talks about like the numbers, whatever, which I don't think were like horrible.
Especially the second half again.
Yeah, people act like it was like some crazy, horrible season. But he was hurt. How much did that like affect him when he was playing?
I think it affected him quite a bit. The one thing I would love to see with Jordan this year, and we've kind of touched on it, Jordan's talked about it too. I would like to see him use his feet more because people forget his 40 time is comparable to Aaron Rodgers. This guy isn't going to be Michael Vick. He's not going to be just running and ducking and making guys miss downfield, but he has a 7.47 or 4.74, excuse me. 7.47 is me. He has a 4.74 40. That's very usable when you're come to a guy that can extend plays. Rodgers was 4.71, so that component of his game is there. But he does like standing tall in the pocket. I've joked about this more than his two predecessors. This guy really does want to stand and deliver the football from the pocket, but he has that capability too, and I feel like as he gets more comfortable, as he develops, he's going to be able to utilize that. You're hearing him use his cadence more during this training camp. I think you're seeing him lead more at the line of scrimmage, be more vocal. This guy has those blue chip traits you look for, and the one thing, and this is not to disparage Anthony Richardson, it's not to disparage Daniel Jones, but when I was at that practice in Indianapolis, I said to a couple of the other beat reporters, Packer fans focus so much on their team because they're passionate about it, but they don't get to see the whole breadth of the National Football League. When you're looking at what Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones were going through in those practices, some of the pressure that they were under, some of the incompletions that they had, playing quarterback is very difficult in this league. And I think sometimes getting into this run the Packers have been in, you could sometimes take that for granted. Jordan's still a young dude. He's entering the third year as the starter now. The expectations have never been higher, but this guy can play. And I feel like the more that people understand that, okay, you're going to have some lumps here that you have to work through as he gains experience, but at the end of the day, that the attributes he's dealing with are attributes a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL don't have.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with the rolling out. I love it to see him rolling out right. I feel like that was cut off a little bit with the injury.
Yeah. And
like you say, that's not really what he aims to do either. But you expect like a big jump, not just from him, because I don't think Jordan Love needs, like, I'm the most confident guy in Jordan Love. I think that he is that dude. I think everything has to happen around. It's not just him. But they have an offense set up with the run game and the passing game. They have to make sure everyone's catching the ball and clean it up, penalty-wise. But I just feel like this can be such a balanced offense.
Yep. And in theory, I don't know if you saw that film breakdown that John Gruden did, but I think he really epitomized what they're trying to accomplish, which is you have a guy like Josh Jacobs in that backfield. You got to make business decisions with how you defend this offense when all the pieces are available, when everybody's healthy, or at least most of them are healthy, especially at the quarterback position. But with the motions that they run in theory, the ability to have some read option concepts within your scheme, and then also having these downfield threats. 4.3 speed at multiple positions now, right? A guy like Savion Williams, who we haven't really been able to talk about much yet because he's still been working through some injuries, but this dude's 6'4", 215, 218 pounds, and you can use him like a running back in some cases. They're using him on some of the jet sweep concepts as well and incorporating him into that. That could free up Jaden Reed for things. So when you mentioned about the ball's going to go to the open guy and everything, all these guys working in tandem can open those opportunities up for each other. And I think the thing I've been most blown away by is you see a guy like Bo Melton go over to the cornerback position now. He's holding his own at cornerback, and yet they still have guys stepping up at running back or at receiver when they've had these injuries. Whether it was Malik Heath making a couple catches, Cornelius Johnson, Julian Hicks made a really nice one down the sideline. That group kind of flies together. And we'll see how the 53 shapes up. We'll see how the practice squad shapes up. But what Green Bay has built with those receivers is pretty special. Now it's just seeing, okay, can you take off from there now that foundation has been laid?
Yeah, but a big part of this offense, I think a big part of this team, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Obviously everyone loves Aaron Jones. And whenever I mention Josh Jacobs, I feel like I have to say I don't know how long this will last, but we have to keep saying it.
Until Josh is retired.
It's true.
Josh will be in his 6th or 7th year with Green Bay, and he'll be like, Aaron Jones. But hey, listen, I love Aaron. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
We all do. He's an all-timer. He's going to go down on my Mount Rushmore of players to cover, just the human, the athlete, everything. He brought it all to the table. But time moves on.
Yep.
And at some point, Wes Hodkiewicz won't be a writer at Packers.com anymore. Matt Ramage probably won't be doing this show anymore.
This truck will probably get pounded.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. But be that as it may, the circle of life moves on. And when you watch Josh Jacobs last year, right, that was a different offense than the Aaron Jones offense.
Yeah.
Those are different type of running backs. And Josh Jacobs was successful for reasons because of what Josh Jacobs brings to the table now. And the Packers are building their offensive line that direction as well. He is a complete workhorse back. He's healthy. He can take the hits. It was his second time with over 300 carries in a season last year. I don't think he looked any worse for wear once the playoffs come around. That's not an indictment on Aaron. I love Aaron, but it just shows you the direction Green Bay is headed with this thing. Josh Jacobs made a lot of sense for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And he like Aaron Jones, he's a great leader.
Yeah.
I mean, I was the videos. You're in the behind the scenes, but you see the videos, and just during the games last year, you've seen moments where he's lifting guys up. So is he would you say the team leader? Is he an offense leader?
Yeah. I mean, this is the part that blew me away the most because you had Xavier McKinney come in, 8 interceptions, all pro. You had Josh Jacobs come in, 1,300 rushing yards, all those touchdown runs. He's a Pro Bowler. But it's what those guys did in the locker room, right?
Yeah.
For a young team. you don't even think about the fact that Xavier McKinney's 25, 26 years old and the way he handles himself in there. In addition to the fact he's extremely talented. I put him as one of the top 3 players right now on this roster in terms of importance and the way he brings that group together on the back end. And on the offense, yeah, Josh Jacobs is a huge part of this thing. We were talking with Marshawn Lloyd, and unfortunately for Marshawn, a very stand-up young man that's been working through a lot of injuries so far. But he talked about last year when he was hurt, he stayed on Jacobs' hip pocket all year. He drove with him down to practice. When Marshawn was down this year, Josh was the guy picking him up. Emmanuel Wilson has mentioned that in the past too. Those are the 2 traits when you look at Jacobs and you look at Jones, that they both run together. And there's a reason why both of those guys were stand-up guy award winners for, the Packers beat corps, and obviously, guys that could easily wear a C on their chest as well.